This week on the Movies and Stuff show, technical difficulties. but then we talk about the Black Panther trailer, the best films of the 21st century, rest in peace, Adam West, and then we'll also discuss the independent film, Let Me Make You a Martyr. Stay tuned. And welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff show. My name is Dan. Joining me, my co-hosts Abe and Marty.
Hey, what's up?
You know, one day I'm going to tell your daughter that you called her a technical difficulty.
It's probably one of the more kinder things I've called her.
Oh!
I kid. You know I love my daughter. Very much so.
Yeah, at least one of them.
Well, I should say daughters. Yeah, I got to get used to that whole thing. Daughters. I'm always saying, it's like, I took my daughter somewhere. And it's like, I should say one of my daughters. Special guest this week. She doesn't care about my daughters. Star of the upcoming indie film, Naomi Jones, Leia Cardenas. How's it going, Leia?
Good. Sometimes I also say it's Leah Cardenas.
Okay. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do Leia.
You know.
What do you prefer? Because I know people named Leah and Leia. They spell it the same way.
Yeah, Leah. But I'll answer to whatever. But Leah for sure.
I'm gonna call you Leah from now on because I called you Leia because Abe keeps calling you Leia.
I know, and I'm gonna start calling Abe Ahabe or something like that. But you know.
There we go. Makes me sound exotic.
Yeah.
So Leah.
Yes.
Has joined us, and only minor technical difficulties this week so far. Not like last time you were on.
Not like last. So it's not. I'm not totally cursed.
No, not totally. I don't want you to feel that this is the expectation, but you got to understand is when Tom ran his show on our network, it was just literally technical difficulty after technical difficulty.
The whole time. I was on that show.
She was on that show, yeah.
Yeah, it astonishes me that he's a credible filmmaker and he couldn't get a webcam to work.
But we don't usually have those issues on set. I think it's just when it's just dealing with YouTube. I don't know. I can't help you with that. I don't know. I think he needs a new computer is what it is.
The chat's already basically saying is that they just want Leia's screen to just cover all three of our faces and just take up the entire screen. I think Abe can make that happen because it's probably a better idea than
we reserve that for Jamil only.
That's right. This close up on Jamil is what we do. So this week we're going to be talking about a little something different. Like we've been covering a lot of like big films, Wonder Woman we talked about last week, which was #synergy, I guess. Was a big episode for us. A lot of people checking it out. So I don't expect as much of a viewership or fanfare for this, but we like to give love to the independent films. We like to pay some attention to some of the smaller films.
We've yet to give any of them love, but we do review them.
Whoa.
Abe's favorite movie that he reviewed this year was Parasites.
It was. Parasite's the best film we've watched on this channel this year.
So,
the movie was complete dog shit.
Amateur Night got a lot of love from us.
I liked Amateur Night more than Parasites.
You guys are fucking crazy.
We're going to talk about Let Me Make You a Martyr, starring Mark Boone Jr. and Marilyn Manson. But first, let's get to some weekly stuff. Topic 1, and this is Marvel released their poster and their trailer for Black Panther. The poster actually looks like a rec center's basics of Photoshop class project.
I don't know who's doing their posters, but
I've seen some rec classes of Photoshop, and
the Spider-Man one was shit a couple weeks before that. And now this one came out. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're making money, but still
not so good in the poster department.
Not good with the posters.
Trailer department looking pretty good. Marty, you seem pretty excited about this, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It came out right after the poster, so I was, worried a little bit because the poster looked like shit. But it was something different. I didn't know what to expect out of this movie. It seems like there's some kind of, underworld kind of vibe to it, kind of a mystical vibe to it. I don't know a lot about the Black Panther comics, so it looks they can go any way they want really with it, and there's so much talent in the movie. Bozeman, Michael B. Jordan, Snoke is in that. So I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's another thing with Marvel though, where they have 2 more movies coming out before this, and I'm more excited about that one now. I mean, I'm excited. Interesting release dates coming out in February, so I think they're kind of trying to build off that Deadpool, Logan kind of plan, where they're just going to put out blockbusters all year round. Now there's no more summer season, no more blockbuster season. Yeah. They're coming out in November, February, March. So I mean, from first view, everything looks good, and I guess we're all excited to see it. I think, except for Abe.
Abe, didn't it look a little bit more sci-fi than you expected, though?
It actually did. Yeah, it did.
Right.
I wasn't expecting, spaceships and things like that, or flying cars or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm kind of interested more than I would be for pretty much any other Marvel property that has bored the shit out of me.
It's like your wine. It's your wine tasting, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I really do feel we're at that point. To the unrefined palate, such as myself, all these comic book movies feel the same, and I can't taste the nuances, I guess.
Leah, are you a fan of comic book films at all?
Yes and no. I mean, I never really got into them much as a kid, and I think they're fun now. But I mean, I haven't seen the majority of the Marvel movies. I recently saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I thought that was fun. I liked the first one better. That's probably one of the ones that I liked the most. But this trailer looked really good to me. I thought it looked interesting, and it looked exciting, and it looked different to me than some of the other recent Marvel movie ones. Movies. I don't know. I'm definitely interested to go see it, but no, I'm not a huge Marvel, huge fan, but I like them.
Yeah, this again, I think people seem to be excited about this. I know. I mean, Wonder Woman did really well, and it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities in regards to presenting. Hopefully, we talked about this last week. Hopefully, presenting more women the opportunity to direct these films, and I think they're looking at Black Panther to do that similarly for black directors and black actors in these films, and not just have them as the Don Cheadle side character.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Almost the entire cast is all black actors and actresses. So, I mean, and the director, of course, again. So, I mean, it's a whole new. And I don't know if it's February. I don't know if they picked February because of Black History Month.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be. I mean, they're trying new. It's not as if Marvel was, not open to all races anyway. But this could be a new thing for a new audience that wouldn't normally go see a comic book movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, everyone goes to see Marvel movies.
I mean, everyone goes to see. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just it's. I think the more astonishing thing is, Wonder Woman had the good follow up, 60 million, 57, 58 million, whatever this past week, beat The Mummy here in the U.S. but The Mummy still went on internationally to rake in money. So
I don't. So many things are bombing this year in America, but are being, surviving on international markets. So I'm not sure what that's going to mean going forward because Mummy is supposed to be the kickoff of a huge new universe.
And they're still going to do it because it made money internationally.
And of those?
They're making everything. They're making.
They're calling it the Dark.
Yeah, the Dark Universe.
The Dark Universe. Yeah, Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula,
Wolfman. Yes.
Yeah, I know it's hard. This is the worst time for movies in the history. I mean, before movies existed was a better time for movies than it is now.
Damn.
This is just horrible.
I think that's a great segue into our second topic, though. I'll continue my trend of mispronouncing names. It's a trend in the history of this show and my previous podcasts. I've been known for just hacking up people's names. Manola Dargis and A.O. Scott recently released their list of 25 best films of the 21st century. And while I happen to think that they nailed the number one movie.
You ready? You want to scroll down to it right now? I got it
Well,
right
let's
here.
do it. Number one movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There Will Be Blood. I have many issues with this list. Abe sent it to me. I was walking through a parking lot, scrolling through my phone, and I looked at it, and I almost threw my phone to the ground when I got to some of these. I have kids, so I have a protective case on my phone, so it wouldn't have smashed, but it would have been a powerful statement to throw that phone onto the floor. Abe had similar sentiments. He actually had sentiments about the number one because he's insane.
Yeah, this is not the number one movie of the 21st century. No.
I know you'll put Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive is the greatest film of the 21st century. Yeah, and
not on this list.
It's not even on the list.
Not even on this list. What was the number 25? Do you remember what 2025 was?
No.
24, 25.
It was
40-year-old version was 25, and 24 was Eternal Sunshine, and fine movies.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think 40-year-old Virgin's a funny movie. I think Eternal Sunshine is a good movie, but the fact that Mulholland Drive wasn't on here, it's crazy. And what about some of the other omissions here, Marty? I know that.
I mean, I'm not going to say I know all these movies that are on this list. There's a lot of foreign films, so I mean, I can't argue those. But some of the things that glaring misses for me, Lincoln.
Lincoln. I think Lincoln deserves to be on there over Munich. That was on there.
Yeah. I always mention when we have a list where Departed's not on it. I think Departed should have been on it. I think this century has been so big as far as the blockbuster conquer movies to not include one. You could have thrown Dark Knight in there. No comedies either.
That's ever 40-year-old Virgin.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked me when 40-year-old Virgin came out, I would have told you the 90s. It's been so long, it seems. But
well, there's also a debate
every 6 months,
of what is the 21st century, though? Because I mean, I saw our friend Mike had a guest on the show had also posted his list, and he started in 2000, and his pick started in 2000. But I would like to. Me and Abe had the discussion. We feel that it should be 2001 on as the 21st century technically.
It just seems like every 6 months there's a new list that comes out to get people talking. I mean, we're 17 years in. This could have waited 3 more years. You could have said the first 20 years or something. I don't know why we're doing this list.
It seems weird.
It's just odd. I mean, and also Inside Out was like 7, I think. That was really high for I mean, it's a fine Pixar movie, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The 7th best movie of the last 21 years. I mean, I'm not even sure it's the best Pixar movie.
Leah, what are your thoughts about this list?
Same thing here. I can't say I haven't seen a lot of these movies, but I think it's, I don't know, art is subjective. But yeah, it's interesting. I agree. I don't think Inside Out should be number 7. I think they're definitely, and they talk about how there's other Pixar movies and stuff that are probably better. Like I would have probably put Up or WALL-E on there way before Inside Out. But I don't know. It made me, reading through this list and reading a lot of like the description stuff, made me want to see a lot of these movies and things like Boyhood, like just the fact that the way it was created, I think is cool. But some other ones, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Boyhood only gets credit because of How It Was Made. I'm not sure anyone ever calls it a great movie. So to say it's a top 25. I mean,
that didn't win Best Picture though, right? That lost Best Picture. It won.
Yeah, it lost to
Best Actress, I think, right? But it didn't win Best Picture.
No,
I don't remember what it lost to. It did lose.
There was a more popular movie. I think The Paper. Not The Paper. I'm sorry, not The Paper. The Paper should have won.
The other one, right?
Spotlight. Yeah.
Spotlight. Yeah.
Another movie I would have put on the list. I'm not saying you got to put every Oscar movie on there, but.
What about you? What else is missing on this list for you? So I know we were like just shooting a couple of movies at just from
if you're gonna put
one alone.
If you're gonna put a comedy, doesn't Royal Tenenbaums fall into that or
Royal
no?
Tenenbaums, that was it. Royal Tenenbaums should be on this list. Absolutely.
And while I agree, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a good movie, you can't leave Schenectady, New York out.
Right.
Yeah. There's just no way.
I don't think there's any horror either. You could have thrown on
Oh, they never do horror. They hate
Get
horror.
Out. I mean, there's been such good horror lately, though, as far as The Witch last year, Get Out this year, that have been critically acclaimed as well. So, I mean, anytime you have a list where you're ignoring whole genres of movies, it's not really... I mean, it's the New York Times, again, they're going to throw in... I think there's, 5 or so foreign films, so we can't really judge those.
Amelie wasn't on there, was it?
No, it wasn't.
So Amelie wasn't there?
Is that
it was 2001?
Is that...
It was 2001.
Is it? Okay.
Amelie was 2001. And... I mean, controversially, you could say like Lord of the Rings wasn't on there, AI wasn't on there.
Force Awakens.
We're talking about serious movies here, Marty.
Would have been on my list, fucker.
Let Me Make You a Martyr was definitely not on there.
Oh.
We'll get to that later.
But it's even so, like, adaptation wasn't on there as a like.
I know, it's missing from there. I thought it was interesting that Mad Max was on there.
That's another one, right?
I liked it.
I don't get why people love that movie so much.
Oh, come on, it's catnip for the New York Times. They hint they give you just enough of a taste of some progressive ideas, and they jump all over it. Whereas I think like Dread was demonstrably a better action movie. I think, yeah. I think it's just catnip.
I'm going through just random years. Lost in Translation.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
Yeah, I would say that my biggest snub was Lincoln. And then Departed.
Lincoln,
was Wall Street on there?
Wolf of Wall Street? I don't think that was on there either.
And they put one Scorsese on there. To not have a Scorsese, or was there any Nolan on the list?
No. No Fincher. No Fincher.
No Fincher either. Oh, of course, Zodiac.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan's had a pretty dominant, run here this century.
I mean, Fincher had Social Network and Zodiac. Easily both could have been on this list, right? Yeah.
Right. Look forward to our next debate show about some other list that comes out in 6 months. We'll do this again.
Say, Ang Lee. No Ang Lee. Like he had Brokeback Mountain that came out during this time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's hard for me to be critical of this list because I haven't seen a ton of these movies that are on it, right? And a lot of these are foreign films that they the reviewers of the New York Times definitely have the availability to see more so than a casual viewer like us. But even so, while we're more casual viewers, we do tend to see a lot more of the independent films and the critically acclaimed films. I know Marty goes out of his way every year to try to see all of the potentially Oscar nominated films, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you would have a solid base, probably a lot more than me because I haven't really seen many of the Oscar films in the last few years. To say you literally see the quote unquote most heralded films. I won't say the best because Oscars never really get it right. But so I think even with the amount of movies that you see, these reviewers just see so much more. So it's hard for me to be critical of it. But when you see a 40-Year-Old Virgin on there and you don't see Royal Tenenbaums, and when you see Eternal Sunshine but you don't see Mulholland Drive,
I mean, 40-Year-Old Virgin is important. It launched several careers.
Yeah, it's a fine movie. You can't put it in the top 25 though.
No, it's not even the best, of that from that crew, I would say.
Yeah, put it in the 50. It's got some really memorable stuff, but 50, maybe except 50. 25, it's a little too high.
Yeah, and I still Upstream Color, everybody. I hammer and hammer on this movie. Upstream Color is a fantastic movie. Everybody needs to see it. It's one of the best of the 21st century.
I only got to 2005, just going through. I just gave up after it's 2005. There's probably plenty more that I've missed. Third and final stuff topic. Some sad news this past week. Actor Adam West, best known for his portrayal on Family Guy. Not kid. Best known for his portrayal of Batman.
He kind of is. I mean, I think he's known more for being just Adam West
now.
at this
He's
point.
just Adam West. Yeah, he's literally Adam West. But one of the original Batman. That's the Batman that we know from our youth, I guess, before our youth. Some of us are younger than others. So the morbid question to ask is, which will be the next Batman actor to die? I'd say the safe bet would be Val Kilmer.
I would have bet Val Kilmer before Adam West died.
I would have too.
Oh my god!
But let's think. Leah, who do you think is going to be the next Batman we're going to lose? And is Will Arnett on this list, Abe? Did you put Will Arnett?
I left the animated out. Once you go, once you start going animated,
there's too many of them.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. I think I'm always terrified of these like freak accidents happening, and Christian Bale, he could be next. You never know.
You might piss off the wrong light man.
He could.
Light fall on his head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Or just create like Anton Yelchin this last year, totally crazy. Like just got hit by his own car, and that's horrible. And it was just so random. I don't know. Christian Bale, you never know. That's my guess. Some horribly
He's probably
random
got some heart issues too, I bet.
Bale's
gaining and losing weight, man. He keeps gaining and losing weight. His heart's probably going to give out on him. He's an intense guy. I can see him.
He can't, he's getting older. He's got to take care of himself. I hope he does. He's great.
I'll throw out another dark horse of Clooney, who just had twins at 50 whatever years old. That'll age you.
Personally, I'm worried about Ben. I'm worried about cirrhosis. I think he's got to watch out.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
I think Keaton outlives them all. I'll bet that.
That could be interesting.
You can't kill Michael Keaton.
Well, he'll just come back as Beetlejuice anyway.
Yep.
So our votes are scattered. It seems.
It seems like it.
There's a viable option for all of them. I would say.
There really is. You can literally make an argument for each one of them.
For anyone dying, really.
Well, in the scheme of things, I still think, you're convincing me with the Bale. Like I might go on the Bale bandwagon here.
He's gonna do like a remake of Taxi Driver one day and get killed, as just a random Uber driver or something.
Oh.
Something.
Doing research.
We need to knock on wood so this doesn't actually happen. We'll feel like we killed Christian Bale if he actually dies or something.
If we have the power, I'll definitely.
Have the power.
Yeah, I'll abuse the hell out of it. That's for sure.
All right, let's move on to our main topic here. So I guess I'm going to throw this up on the screen right now. This is going to be #synergy, right? Is it coming?
So, yeah.
Is it there? Did you have it set up? There it is. All right, #synergy. The main reason that we do #synergy this is the idea for this episode came up a while back. We interviewed actor Mark Boone Jr., so you can check out that interview on our channel. Really cool actor. In fact, we talked to him about Batman Begins. Funny enough, of all things. It went into his whole career. We talked about Carnival. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. And so, whenever we have guests on the show, we'll ask them, hey, what do you have coming up, or what are you working on right now? And he had mentioned this movie and said that he's working on a film called Let Me Make You a Martyr with Marilyn Manson, and then he was really excited about it. So, I was really looking forward to this movie, and I saw that it was coming out on VOD, and we try to throw in a VOD review, every couple of months. Throw some love to the more independent films, and I wish I was a little bit more happy with the end result of this film. I think I was talking to Marty about it afterwards. So I think there was some good kind of bones, if you will, for this movie, and acting wise, I didn't think it was some bad acting. I just think the script was not a great script, and I saw some people defending the film. I looked at some reviews and people saying that the script wasn't convoluted, it was just complicated, and the writers and directors wanted to make you really think about what was going on. I said, no, I think they just fucked up. Like honestly, I think they made it way too complicated than it had to be. The impact scenes to me were kind of like out of nowhere. It's like, so wait, he's gonna kill her now? Like that's what's going on here? Like that makes no sense. And little girl just in a like, how's that little girl in the trunk and still living? Like, I mean, honestly, she fine.
Well, spoilers, everybody, spoilers.
There's a lot of throwing kids in hot areas and saying, oh no, they'll be fine.
I was going to cut you off, Dan, and say, why don't we start by saying what the movie's about? But it's hard to say what this movie's about.
Well,
because
in fact, we are going to say what the movie's about, and you are going to do a review of the trailer right now.
Right, there we go.
From the people who brought you Sons of Anarchy, but not any of the good ones. Some award thing that has low standards, apparently. Marilyn Manson playing his Sons of Anarchy character. Some incest sex there. This girl just makes faces at you the entire movie. She never speaks. This guy was like a cheap T.J. Miller. Marilyn Manson, I think, was the devil, maybe, in this movie. I'm not sure. This guy looks exactly like the Sons of Anarchy character in everything he does. I know you talked to him, but that's exactly what it looks like. That guy died for no reason. I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah, that was a bright spot. There's a girl in a box, so let's put her in a trunk after that. Marilyn Manson burning things as if he's the devil, of course. This was like a True Detective ripoff, if you ask me, the way this guy was talking the entire movie. I like how they throw these names up as if you know who the fuck they are. A lot of these guys are bit parts in Sons of Anarchy, if you ever watch that show. Let me make you a martyr. Heroin junkies with deep thoughts on life.
No, it's still going. Oh no, there it is. It apparently came out last year in
Like
Montreal.
Festivals,
Yeah. Where they have, there's too many festivals, I think is what the point of this movie is. I mean, it's an odd. I mean, as soon as I like I said, I watched Sons of Anarchy. So as soon as I turned this on, like every character in this movie is like a bit character from Sons of Anarchy. And I thought maybe the writers or directors were involved with the show, but from what I can tell, they weren't. So I guess they were just Sons of Anarchy fanboys that wanted to make a movie. Because Marilyn Manson, and everyone knows Marilyn Manson, of course, as the rock star or whatnot. But he played in the last two seasons.
Mostly the whatnot.
Yeah. The last two seasons of Sons of Anarchy, he played like this, white supremacist, just scary fucking guy from prison, who just walks around just like this kind of movie, kind of just talking about biblical verses and killing people and shit. And that's exactly what he is in this movie. The guy, the guy we talked about, plays this pimp. It's all the thing about this movie is that there are parts to it that could be a good story. It's about people being addicted to heroin in the rural parts of America. It's basically the meat of this movie. But they just kind of go around it the entire time, and it's all this kind of mysterious kind of discussions and deep thoughts and weird tracking shots and music, and but when you get down to it, it's a story about a kid who was adopted by a pimp who went away for 6 years and then came back and killed the two priests that molested him, killed his stepfather who was pimping out his sister who he also loved, so it was just kind of a weird thing. And, but they told it in a way that you didn't know what was going on the entire time.
It was a good story wrapped around a bad script, or a bad script wrapped around a good story, whatever you want to say it is. I mean, it was
movie making, really, is what it was.
But even so, like some of the dialogue was just like, it's like, come on,
like these
people don't speak like this. Come on,
especially when they're smackheads. They don't talk that deep.
Abe, what do you think?
Oh, it was an overly convoluted story. I agree with what you said. I thought it was actually acted pretty well.
That's what I'm saying. No, I thought the acting was actually really well.
Yeah. I thought Marilyn Manson was the bright spot of the whole movie. I mean, when he was on screen, at least it had some energy. But man, nothing else had energy. More unforgivable than perhaps the convoluted story was. It was boring.
Oh yes,
there was nothing happening.
So slow. It was too slow. I can't, honest to God, 100% say I didn't nod off during it. I may have.
I had to rewind the scene that Dan touched on a bit, where it's the sister and the brother, I don't know if there's so much odd biblical shit involved in this, but they're
adopted.
They're adopted sister and brother, and they were in love. And there's a scene where she does, she's a heroin addict and a hooker, I think, and she just decides to kill herself. And then they had this. I had to go back and rewind it to see that he was the one choking her, because then she just it's hard to focus on this movie at times because it's just so drawn out and it's not boring, but it's drawn out and sappy, and you just kind of look away and you look back and she was dead. It was like, oh, I'm gonna rewind it, and he choked her out, and then he's explaining suicide, and they tell the story in a way where he's talking to what you think is a cop the entire movie. So you don't know if he got arrested for killing her or for everything else he did in the movie. And so it just doesn't. It just then the reveal at the end we'll talk about later, I guess, if you want. But It's just like by the time they reveal, it's like, oh, all right, who cares? It's like, and it was like I said, the True Detective thing. He's kind of tried to be like deep, like McConaughey in that movie where he's just telling a story, and you think he's being deep and thought provoking, but he's just kind of just bullshitting about most of what happened. And there are things in it that you would care about. I mean, this guy was molested. He was mistreated by his stepfather. But you don't, there's nothing in him that evokes any kind of sympathy, really. It's just shooting people, and you don't know why he's shooting some of the other people he's shooting at the time. And then, he dies, and you don't even know that he died. They just show kind of like a clip of him shot. Like, oh, he's dead. Oh.
Leah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the acting was fine. I actually I liked the sister. I don't remember her name, but the sister character, and Junebug,
yeah.
Junebug, yeah. I don't know. I thought she was interesting, but I think just the script was horrible. The words that they were saying, like they would have say these sentences to each other that like use these like big words, and they would kind of. It was so convoluted, and I actually rewound the same scene of him killing his sister because I still don't really know why he did that, and I don't know. Watching it, the opening scene, there's this music that's playing that it makes you think. Like I thought I was going into like some sort of like buddy cop movie or something. Like it, the music at first makes it kind of seem like you're going into like a comedy, and then at the very end, the very last shot, music comes up and Marilyn Manson's like all badass and shit, and it made me think like it seemed like it was trying to be a badass action movie, but at the same time an indie love story with these like overhead shots of the brother and sister on in this like junkyard. Like it was a cool shot, but it did not belong in this movie at all.
I think that's the point I want to make. Is I actually thought it was it was a good looking film. I think they did a good job of putting it together, but it also looked like a clip show from random 90s independent films. Like they just went through every single like early 90s independent films. Like I'm going to take a clip here, a scene here, a clip here. It's like, oh, here's some Quentin Tarantino type stuff. Throw that in there. Like it looked like this jumbled kind of mess. Like it would have fit in. I kind of feel this movie would have fit in with the 90s, indie scene. I think maybe it would have even gotten a little bit more love back then than it would now. But after seeing all of those other 90s indie films that inspired it, if you will, it's just like, well, there's nothing new here. There's just it really is. You can't even say homage. It was literally like, this is a shot from this film, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna use it here. But so it looked nice. Again, it looked a lot like the originals.
It's not a cheap looking movie. Everything is shot really well. Yeah. It's what they're shooting though is nonsense.
But I do agree. I think I liked Manson's character, and
but what is he doing?
I think that's my issue. Is just,
I didn't care for his character.
I liked his character, but they didn't make it to me interesting enough. Like I think it was an interesting character and it was a good performance, but they didn't make me really care of what was going on. Here he's living in the backwoods. You have to take a boat to go see him. And then if you want to kill a family member, it costs double. Like, that's what I got out of it.
But then he killed everybody else, and they don't really
And
explain why he killed anybody else.
And that's, I think, one of the problems is, I think, the main character, Nicotera, the one from Sons of Anarchy, the main guy in this, I think it's alluded to that he explains to Manson what has been going on his entire life, and basically he's saying, well, listen, I have nothing to live for anymore, so go ahead and kill me. But after he explains everything to Manson just basically says, screw this, and he's going to do the right thing for once. And I think that's emphasized by, at the end, when he finds the girl in the trunk. Granted, he finds the girl in the trunk and he just looks and then he closes it and drives away, as opposed to I got to get this girl out of the trunk. But you get that nosy neighbor who's looking across the street.
You pull little girls out of trunks. Someone's going to call someone.
They might ask some questions.
Yeah. After 3 gunshots were just heard.
Yeah.
She had headphones on though. She can't hear.
So I think it was an interesting character that was kind of squandered. They didn't do enough with it, and they didn't do enough of explaining why this person should be more interesting. And he said very smart things and very intellectual and philosophical bits, but it seemed out of place at times.
He kills the brother that we don't know why. The brother's not a good person, but he just kills him. He killed the friend who was a horrible person. He was a porn star of some sort. And we saw him working out in his underwear for no reason. And he just killed a random guy that was driving him. We didn't even know who that guy was.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Can we argue at all that we have unreliable narration?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they were trying to do that, and again, it just wasn't effective in the filmmaking process. Because I agree with you, Abe. I do think it was almost in a way trying to go for a little bit of a Lost Highway vibe in regards to can you trust what this person is saying? Is this the true, honest story of what you're getting? Only whereas Lost Highway #synergy was effective in doing that. This just wasn't.
No, it was not at all. Just to go back to the Manson character real quick, he's also an Indian. They called him a wind talker.
Yeah, but didn't they call him a Nazi wind talker or something like that?
I was going to ask you.
Something weird.
Leah, you look like you know.
No, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I just remember I looked up this movie before I watched it, and people were saying, "Oh, there is this big controversy for Marilyn Manson playing a Native American character." But apparently he is part Native American.
The Johnny Depp defense. Yeah.
I don't know, a 16th or 8th or whatever, maybe more. I don't know. But I did not get that in the movie.
Is his name Pope in the movie?
Yeah,
he's
Pope. Yeah.
So
I'm 1/8 Native American, so I guess I could do this role then.
There was a lot of anti-Semitism in the movie. Did anyone get upset about that?
Yeah.
That was there. Yeah. I also watched it. I like to watch movies with subtitles on, so I had the subtitles on, and I don't know if this is anything, but the subtitles, there was more dialogue in the subtitles than there was on actually audible.
I was going to ask you that. The sound mix was a little bit off, wasn't it? Especially it got better towards the end, but it seemed like the sound mix was kind of off for the earlier part of the films, where you weren't really getting everything that was being said. Especially with Manson, I'd have to lean into the TV as what the fuck's he talking about? What's he saying?
Yeah, there were some weird parts, and there would be shots of where there was no sound at all, but then on my screen they would be taught they would be lines back and forth that dealing with what they fit in with the script. And I don't know if they were just edited out, or I have no idea why that is.
Well, there was one scene where the guy is on the phone and he's talking at a club or something, and they I don't know if they realized after the fact that you couldn't hear him talking on the phone because they added some weird subtitling. And
I thought they were trying to pull a train spotting right there. Is what I personally thought.
Yeah, because it wasn't anything important. It was what
pulling
happened?
from pieces of indie films from the 90s, Abe.
Right. Yeah.
Also, the stripper in that one scene was way too hot for this backwater town. I'm just going to say that.
That's your one complaint.
Apparently, the main one of the main drug dealers is a rapper named Slane.
Was that the guy in the trailer?
Yeah, he's also in The Town and Gone Baby Gone and Killing Them Softly.
I would have liked it more because he's like this heroin dealer in a trailer park with his own kind of commune almost.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah.
And
More
I
interesting to
thought
see
they
that.
were kind of building towards a war between heroin dealers for the
Right.
and then he just gets shot, and then everyone who he says is loyal to him just rushes into his trailer to steal his heroin. And that just ended. It's like, and we don't know why he kidnapped that girl.
Yeah, like, and ooh,
We know her parents are dead. We don't know who they were, though, really. There was like a quick news flash. Maybe they said
There's
more
just
than...
so many open areas and things left for interpretation that you can't say that this film was, it's thought-provoking because it doesn't answer all the questions. It answers none of the questions.
Even when it does try to answer, it's in quick little flashes that if you're not, like, completely focused on it, you missed. And it's like, they're in heaven, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. The
Pull a
character.
gladiator at the end.
That's the reveal at the end where we think he's talking to the cop the whole time. I guess he's talking to St. Peter. I don't know.
No, Charon. That was the clue. Charon is, according to mythology, when you die, you meet the ferryman Charon. He's the one that takes you across the river Styx to the afterlife.
Okay.
The detective's name was Charon.
Okay, I didn't think about that one. So yeah, he's in purgatory the whole time.
Well, no, he's being interrogated to see where he's going to end up in afterlife, I guess. And if you lawyer up in front of the, you're going straight to hell. Yeah, they won't let you get a lawyer.
And but they offer you a cigarette, so that was nice.
That would be nice, if you're dead. Why not?
A lot of smoking in this movie. You don't see that much.
There's a lot of smoking in this movie.
Yeah, they're bringing that back. They're making it popular again.
Yeah.
Smoking, use of the C word.
Yeah, lots of C word. Robert Mayo is asking, he wonders if this movie would make more sense if we were all doing heroin.
I mean, it wouldn't help. It wouldn't hurt.
Do I sense a rewatch coming up?
Oh God.
We can do a live screening as we're all passing it around.
Talia's saying the movie sounds boring.
It is boring. It is boring. That's more than anything else going on. It's boring.
It's interesting subject, but just treated just so slow and methodically that you lose track of it and you just stop caring at some point.
Yeah.
Amanda saying it sounds like her when she tries to describe Catwoman. It made no sense. I had to keep rewinding. I fell asleep.
That's basically.
That's unfortunately, yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's hard to not recommend. I hate when we bring up these movies just to dog them, but
we don't. No,
it'd be hard to recommend this.
I mean, I agree. It's hard to recommend this. I want to.
You got to go watch this because of there's no. If you're a big Marilyn Manson fan, and he is good in it. I mean, there's that.
Yeah, but man, those trailers and the promotional images were trying to paint this as like a horror movie.
Yeah,
with Marilyn Manson. This is not. That's not at all what you're gonna get.
I was hoping for like that rare gem, like Cold in July. I was hoping that it was going to be like that. Cold in July, a hell of a movie. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Also, #synergy because interviewed Jim Mickle, director of Cold in July, who also does Happen Leonard on the. I don't know, what is that? Sundance Channel. Sundance Channel. Yeah. From the look of it, I was hoping for something like that, like the rare gem. And I think when we watch these VODs, and I mean, Leah does independent films, so she can talk a little bit about this. Is when there are these gems out there that people probably won't see or hear about, possibly ever, right? You're doing all these independent films, you should never know. So I do like to give those a chance, and my hope is that they're good. More often than not, we're wrong. I mean, I'd probably say Abe puts Parasites up there. Marty probably puts Love Witch up there as his favorite of the.
I don't know what was worse, that or Spectral. Spectral was pretty bad too.
Spectral was Netflix though. That wasn't even independent though, right? That was
that was Netflix.
I think that wasn't original. They just picked up the rights to that.
Oh,
that was something that got dropped by everybody, and it's like, all right, we'll put it.
Yeah.
But as I was Leah, like that's the whole point. Is that there's you do movies or you do things like that there's a good chance that no one will ever see.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like
no, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying it's like that's the point of it. Yeah, it's like a podcast, but like that's one of the things about independent films is like if you get something that looks somewhat interesting, I think it's worth us giving a shot to talk about it. If we don't like it, then sucks. but still, I would like to give people, these filmmakers a shot.
I like that we do these, but I guess I'm hoping for once that, like you said, we find a gem that we can promote and say, everyone go watch this, because almost everything we've seen so far is that we've said to avoid.
You're right. Like the fact that you guys, you pick these movies to watch sometimes, and like giving this a chance, giving it more views, and even that we're talking about it right now is more coverage than most independent movies get in general. And I mean, I guess it's press, even if it's good or bad.
Right.
Like it's still attention, and we're still talking about it. And the production value was like impressive.
It is. I agree.
I don't know how much money there was behind this, but like
I was trying to say, yeah.
Like the shots are great. They got Marilyn Manson, like it's interesting. And I think it's just the script. And sometimes with independent movies, there's not necessarily a reason, but like people haven't quite found, people make independent movies all the time. And only so many people, you can't necessarily make that. You always want people to see them, but you can't necessarily make them hoping that, it's going to be that next Netflix is going to pick it, so you can't make it for that reason. No. So hopefully, I mean, it seems like most of these people, maybe, I don't know them personally, that they were interested in the script and they wanted to make something interesting, and they were excited. I'm sure they enjoyed making it. I don't know.
Again, it seems like when we talked to Boone that he was really high up on this. It was the one movie that stood out to me when he was talking about them, and that he was excited about making. And not to say that he's not a big star, but I mean he's done quite a few shows and films that he's made his way through independent films, and when he says that he's excited about doing something, then piques my interest. But
200,000. That's what it says here.
200,000 was the budget.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, they must have worked all cheap.
Yeah, it looked really good. Yeah, that was it was down in Tulsa.
I guess that's
right?
Down
in Tulsa, I think. They probably got some good tax breaks.
You can start. Technology is getting so good. I guess you don't have to pay much to get good-looking picture.
No, you don't.
But even to get all those actors. I mean, like I said, they're not megastars, but Boone was on Sons of Anarchy for 7-something years.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in Batman, for God's sakes. You think he'd cost it? You think Manson? You'd have to pay him to show up. I mean,
right.
But again, these are all people that work together.
With Manson, though, like he always has had like an interest in acting, so I could see him taking on roles just to get the opportunities and do stuff.
And he's got fuck you.
He's good in Sons of Anarchy.
He's got fuck you money, so he can do whatever the hell he wants. So. Yeah. I would watch Marilyn Manson again in something, because I thought I found him to be interesting in this one. He kept my attention.
Would you watch an origin story of this character?
I actually would.
I actually would. If there was a movie just about this guy, I would watch it.
I was thinking that the movie would have been better if it was maybe from his perspective instead of the guy,
Nico.
But we didn't really, he was just scattered, and I guess that was the point of his storytelling, that he was a scattered person, but it doesn't make for a good movie making. That's what.
Anything else? Do we have anything else about this movie?
No, it's on Amazon, right? I mean,
Amazon, iTunes.
Yeah, Amazon.
Check it out if you like.
Yeah.
Again, not to watch a movie unless it's Ghostbusters.
Oh, you just did that so Amanda had to drink.
It was interesting to see a movie. This is how I imagine Marty views every state that's not on the East Coast. Pretty much every state across the country. This is like Marty's imagination when he closes his eyes. This is what he sees. It was interesting to get a glimpse into that.
Isn't that what you walk into the streets of every day, Abe? I mean, it's not what you see.
No, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'll say Dan knows for certain there are parts of Jersey that are just like this fucking movie.
Oh yeah. Just saying, I've driven down the streets of Camden before, and
you've looked around Keansburg.
I lived in Keansburg, so I mean, there's
there's a trailer.
Don't have to go far to see that. Yeah. All right, wrap the show up, and just looking at the chat, the comment from Robert Melee, quote from The Love Witch: "This chick's weird, Marty."
Yep.
People seem to like the trailer reviews.
I think they put that on the poster when they re-released it.
Should. This chick's weird, Dash Marty. Oh my god, we should totally take the poster, Photoshop this chick's weird, Dash Marty, and see if they would accept it. I think people do like your trailer analysis, though, Marty. I think
this
you
one
might
wasn't much because this was a weird trailer. They didn't really show.
There wasn't much going in the movie. There wasn't much going on in the trailer.
Wow.
They didn't lie to you, at least. I mean,
let's close out another episode of the Movies and Stuff show. Thank you to the chat. You guys are always awesome. You make what we do worthwhile. You really do. Dozens of you. Make sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to us. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter at Movies Stuff Show. There's going to be Marty's pointing to where there might be a subscribe button or videos or something like that.
Wonder Woman review.
Wonder Woman review. Yeah.
That way. I'll put up some of our old on demand.
Hashtag synergy. Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Love Witch, Parasites, Amateur Night. By the way, Leah was talking about this earlier. Amateur Night. We actually got a boost in our reviews, and Amateur Night promoted the episode, even though we trashed it for like they like retweeted it and they promoted our episode because, again, it was press. So
yeah.
Hey, a strip club followed us after our bachelor party review ranking show. So
there you go. See, Leah, thanks again so much for joining us. It actually went much better than your last go around, right?
Thank God. Thank you for having me. This is super fun.
Other than Naomi Jones, which I guess comes out in October, this is what I've heard. October. What else do you have going on? Doing anything else?
We just wrapped up filming for Green on Green, which is another movie I co-starred in and helped produce. And so that'll probably come out fall 2018. And then, yeah, we're keeping them coming. And then we're about to shoot a short film called The Nuanced Side, which I helped write with Tom Noblock, and we're going to film that here coming up in the next few weeks.
Very cool. Exciting. Cool. See? Yeah. Keeping independent film alive.
Yeah.
We'll, of course, be back next Tuesday live at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Ish.
We're going to discuss the best summer camp movies. This is a topic on the episode that you're on, Leah. You were the only one that gave an adequate answer. So we felt that we had to vindicate this great topic by having a whole episode, an entire episode to it. So we're going to do a ranking of these.
Can't wait to see it.
There better be some good stuff to talk about next week.
Oh, there will be. More people will die.
Hopefully. Maybe Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Maybe Leah killed Christian Bale. I don't know.
I'll feel so bad.
Good night. Later, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Someone's